A very, very warm good evening. This is Arunavut Chaudhary. You are on my YouTube channel, arunfoot. Sorry, I'm 50 minutes later than originally planned with this live. Sorry, I was just out and had to get something sorted. And yeah, let's have another discussion on Indian football tonight, on all that is happening or not happening, should be happening, should not be happening. And yeah, and therefore we can speak about those things, and you know, and therefore for me, it's as always a challenge to speak about things, because sometimes you feel, um, where are we heading? Where is this journey taking us in regard to Indian football? Are we on the right path? Are we on the wrong path? And yeah, so let's wait and see where we go. Good evening, Sterling. The Super Cup draw is done. As per it, they've considered Inter Kansha as the top-ranked team. Does that mean anything to us? No, they didn't, right? I mean, if your logic works, then the number 2 team should have been Churchill Brothers, and they would have then have to play FC Goa, right? And they're playing Mohun Bagan. So they actually had a draw of lots, and so therefore, yeah, let's see. The government of Goa have already recognized and rewarded Churchill Brothers as champions. Yeah, which says a lot about the government in Goa as well, and that does not speak very, very highly of the Chief Minister and the Goan government. And this is India for you, right? We've had the issue where the Sports Minister has said certain things, the Prime Minister certain things, So let's see. What are your sources at AIFF feeling about the verdict? Sterling, they have no access to it. The AIFF people that are working in the AIFF have no access to the appeals committee. And again, the appeals committee know that they're in the system, yeah, let's see. Proud of Alamao, 40 years passion and still going strong. Okay, Nadeem. Yeah, we've had the discussion yesterday. You're still defending I-League and everything, whatever, when there is no point. Let's see. That's the feeling many Goan footballs have begun to have recently. Yeah, that's the problem. Now, someone will ask what he has achieved in 40 years. Okay, let him be not here. Would Indian football have reached heights if Churchill Brothers did not have invested in Indian football? We never know, right? So we never know. But I think, to me, honestly, Nadeem, these people have not helped in the development of Indian football. Yes, they have invested time, money, and effort, no doubt about it. But have they actually prevented people who have much deeper pockets to come into Indian football over the years? I think that's the question that you should ask yourself. And that is something where, so that's the reality. Alliance City Sailors have defeated Sydney FC 2-0. Yeah. As I said, the close franchise league with bank guarantee clubs struggling in Asia. Nadeem, what has the I-League done? This annoys me. People like you don't want to understand. What has the I-League done for us? What has the NFL done for us? What have the Indian football clubs who are 100 plus years done for Indian football over the 100 plus years? What have they done for us, right? At least certain things have happened in the last 10, 11 years, which were not happening before that, right? And we see if you give these people a little bit of a finger, they will take the whole bloody body, right? Don't just say the AIFF is this, is this. No, these people are part of the system. They are part of this created system. The ISL teams are not part of the system. They are rather in their own little bubble and own little world, right? They have their own set of problems. But this is, brilliant argument. Really brilliant argument. Hi, Welsian. We know AIFF is worthless in working for the betterment of Indian football, but in a serious note, what is the ideal football structure that would have worked in the Indian football that could have made it stable and successful? Right leadership. It starts at the top, Welsian. So that's the point. Look at all these people running around. I think if I was in charge of Indian football, 99.99% of these people would not be involved in the game because they're harming the game, right? So therefore, for me, but again, the ISL has its own set of problems. Reliance has its own set of problems. Are they perfect? No, by far they're not. right? But they've brought certain things in, which a certain Churchill Alamao, officials of East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, Mr. Dempo, Mr. Salgaonkar tried to block. This is something which people forget, right? Because who was there in 2012 when these conversations happened? Problem. What are we talking about? Get angry. I'm fed up of these people telling me, oh, it should be this way or that way. These people have harmed Indian football. They have not helped Indian football. I think that is the conversation we should be having rather than talking about what they have done for Indian football, right? What have they done for Indian football? Where is Indian football? Have they created anything? All these players, and even claiming I've created this. No, these are all byproducts, despite of the shitty system that you've been running and you've been working in. Churchill Alamao is a criminal. I don't know what he invested in football, considering his own club failed to clear club licensing in the era of I-League when it was our first-tier league. Yeah, Aditya, very good point. Inter Kash is going to win the I-League as they've already started preparing for playing in ISL, no matter whichever government says anything. Okay. Churchill brothers owner declared themselves as official winner in social media. And this is something right? I wouldn't do that. Right? All right, then why is Mr. Chobe speaking otherwise? Sterling, Mr. Chobe is Mr. Chobe. And Mr. Chobe also has one big weakness, in my opinion. He doesn't say no. He doesn't, get into a matter and say, Tika, I'll look into it. No, he always says, yes. That's also not leadership. Blue says, so shameless. I checked the audit file and my God, the amount of scams I could easily see just with my eyes is just astonishing. Okay. The government have ruined Goa. The tourists have leaving the taxi mafia and high prices. It's just made everyone leave Goa. It's no longer a desired tourism place. Yeah, that's another point. Very good point. Hi, Dark Knight. So what happened there? What happened? 1 second. I seem to have lost myself from the studio. 1 second. Let me just try and re-enter. Yeah. Hi, Dark Knight. Welcome back. Exactly what has Indian pre-ISL clubs have done for us? The ISL clubs are more successful than I-League clubs could ever be, exclude Mohun Bagan, since they joined in 2020 anyway. That question can be asked to Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, Mohammedan as well. What have they done over a century? Mumbai City FC talks with Dex Buckingham for the next season. Well, what is happening there? 1 second, let me just get that back. So Sorry, I had to reboot the system. I don't know what StreamYard as a platform create problems for me. Yeah. Mumbai City talked with Des Buckingham for next season. Yash Raj, it's a rumor amongst fans. Again, I think Mumbai City needs to first decide itself. Are they keeping Peter Krapke? Is the sporting management staying, or are they making any changes? And I think the bigger question, which we need to all, with all that we're discussing about next season, do we have an ISL next season? I think everybody seems to forget that question. Good evening here on Rare. I think the problem with Indian football is like New Year resolution, keep on repeating, promise but never achieved. Good comparison, Murali. With the money FSTL gave to AIFF organized FIFA U17 Men's and Women's World Cup and AFC Women's Asian Cup? No. Dark Knight, those were separate budgets. That had nothing to do with that. Do you think today, unfortunately, propaganda people become football experts than real experts? Yes, Murali. Any update on new coach of FC Goa? Here on Rare, they are in the market, but nothing confirmed at this moment. Who makes up the appeals committee? Is it current EXCO members or like independent judiciary? Sterling, the committees who take these legal decisions in the AIFF are independent bodies which have former judges, lawyers in it, and ex-players. So that is the makeup of these. Hi, Abhijit. In Jamshedpur FC vs Mohun Bagan game, do you think Khalid Jamil was a bit too defensive? This Shrikutan guy looked good though. Abhijit, he played what he would have played. This is 1A Khalid Jamil tactics. I don't know why there's a conversation about that he was too defensive. That's how Khalid plays. Has played, plays, and likes to play. So yeah. The roadmap of Indian football is scam. Why was East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, who harmed Indian football, allowed backdoor entry? Nadeem, as one of the authors of the roadmap, I find it very, very nice that you call it a scam, because that was the most honest work ever done on Indian football. I can say it because I was involved and I know the budgets that were involved for this, and there was no scam, right? So therefore, for me, it's nice that you seem to know better than the people involved on what happened, what not. It was not a backdoor entry. Things were discussed, and one had to look at the options available of how to put together the two leagues. If you ask me, there needed to be a formula to be worked out without forgetting the commercial side of things. And if you look at teams in the I-League in 2018, 2019, we've had, amongst other things, Chennai City, for example, disappearing, right? Despite having a wealthy owner. The question was, how do you strengthen the ISL as a top-tier league and enable down the road promotion, and then further down the road, relegation? Keeping in mind the realities of Indian football, Indian club football, and the factors of growth. And it was very, very clear that if you look at teams in the I-League, look at their budgets, look at the capabilities of how much money they can raise, they were at the time only two entities who you seriously could consider to go from the I-League to the ISL. And that was East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. Very, very simple. Yeah? And to me, the promotion thing has not worked. And I said this, right? I rather today would say, yeah, that's the reality. And actually, I talked with some inside people, and they said, if FC is going nowhere, even the owner confirmed itself the fact in his tweet, other than That's the point. Again, Aditya then asked the owner why he's speaking with other people in other states. Recently, I watched an Asia Cup qualifiers match 2011 Australia versus India. That Indian team is better than the current national team. What do you think? That was not a qualifier match that you're talking about, the 2011 AFC Asian Cup match at the Al Sadd Stadium in Doha, 6th of Jan 2011, if I'm right. And 6th or 10th, yeah, 6th, I think. I was there. A proud moment. Australia at that time was the best team in Asia, top players, and we gave them a fight. I don't know why Ashish Negi suddenly becomes such anti-Odisha FC from his words and stances, creates his bubble that Lobe is going to leave, that the owner himself had to come and say that. We will continue with Lobera and we'll bring new good players with also being budget friendly. I have a lot of respect for Mr. Ashish Negi, but he keeps saying hate against my club and his agenda. Then it's going to be a no-no for me. I cannot respect such individual. Aditya, someone like an Ashish is says what he knows, right? And at the moment, there are rumors about it, and yeah, that's something. You know, and so to me, you know, there's a lot of conversation going on back chatter. So therefore, I sometimes even feel that people in the second and third tier of a club don't know what's happening in the background. Oh, what did the okay? I feel Jamshedpur's defensive approach gave Mohun Bagan more ball possession because they're too much deep in defense. Mohun Bagan get enough time to make creative chances. Seriously, players like Greg, Timmy, Jamie, Jason, and Sahal. Goku, that was clear from the onset, right? And it was clear from the onset that Jamshedpur going to Kolkata with a 2-1 lead, that Jamshedpur would defend that. And this is old school Khalid Jamil, Mumbai City, not Mumbai, Mumbai FC, even Aizawl FC. That is the way he's played, right? Why people of an open system where Goenka starters, Jindals, Alamaus fight together? Because I think, Nadeem, the open system financially doesn't work, right? You know, and yeah, but again, I've tried to explain it to you now for 2 days. At some stage, I'm going to give up. If you don't want to understand it, then you live in that bubble. If you want to respect these kind of people who have harmed Indian football more than they've helped, then that's fine. Stick with it, right? But I'm very, very clear that these people, no. Your thoughts on last night UCL at Emirates? Devo, I didn't see it. I just saw the highlights and Arsenal beating Real Madrid 3-0 and having even more chances to score. That was impressive. Why do you think some clubs are hyping themselves as champions already? Because they know they're not going to be champions once the verdict comes out, I think, right? At some stage, someone's going to take a proper decision. And once that proper decision comes, you're not going to do it. Former Arsenal legend Nacho Monreal is going to be new coach at FC Goa. No, that was a parody account. It is not ESPN, but ISPN. Guys, therefore, again, one good reminder. Yes, Sterling said it. Fake news was from Parody Channel. Exactly. Look at your sources. Where are you getting your information from? Because a lot of people, that's a problem. Is it curtains for Mohammedan Sporting? If that happens, do you see shift in Kolkata football politics like protests and previous management Mohammedan Sporting get even worse compared to their siblings? Obvijit, if I'm very, very honest, I think last summer, if Reliance was serious and looked at the situation, I don't think Mohammedan Sporting should have been given a chance to play ISL. as much as I like it on one side, that I think a club like Mohun Sporting in the ISL would have been a good step. But on the other side, I see that the chaos that is brought, and I think there could have been also steps taken in regard to Hyderabad FC before that. And I hope that they learn their lessons, because otherwise the ISL, which has been managed well for at least 8-9 seasons, becomes the same mess. That which is not going to help Indian football. Right, the rest of the system is a mess. That mess is now entered the ISL, and if Churchill Brothers gets in, it's going to be carnival every day. Now, is there something true Bangladesh having intentions joining ASEAN zone? Roshan, there are people who are spreading this, but I don't see anything of an information coming from the AFC of a restructuring of the regions in Asia. And if Bangladesh would join ASEAN, that would mean indirectly the question of does South Asia exist anymore? Because then you could theoretically say, Pakistan, India could, the whole construct doesn't work. So therefore, I don't think so. But again, as we've learned with everybody else, anything is possible these days. Super pumped about FC Goa and Classic's next gen appearance. Not disappointed with BFC. Disappointed with BFC and Punjab FC performance though. Abhijit, not every situation, in every situation a team will perform, right? And look at Classic, where Renedy has set foundation, right? And therefore, let's wait and see. And again, sometimes you'll be successful, sometimes you also fail. And my question is, rather than this team success, how many of these players are going to come through the system? That is for me at the end more important than these successes of these teams in these competitions. Then how these clubs can earn profit. Kuku, very simply, television rights need to be made valuable. Utsav, I'm fine. Hope you're doing good as well. I see FIFA ban coming to India. AIFF is not serious about anything these days. Yeah, AIFF not being serious is one problem. I think the problem is, courts in India, right? With recent incredible amount of hatred expressed by Bangladesh people, do you think our away trip there would be quite challenge apart from Hamza and Shom and Co? Weren't we supposed to be hateful to the Bangladeshis as well? This is more social media hype, Abhijit, than anything else. So let's see. So what are new updates regarding Indian footballing behind Kuku? The chaos that you see, nothing special in the background at the moment. Do you believe that some individual have an influence over the appeals committee? Sterling, I think people are trying to influence it. Yes. But again, the problem of the appeals committee is if it doesn't take the right decision. We have a situation like with the PSC. PSC, Mohun Bagan, of course, never went to CAS. But in this situation, I see Interkashi going to CAS. And if Interkashi goes to CAS, then AIFF is trouble. Where our club paid more salary to Indian player, even they're already going in losses. Yes, Raj, because otherwise you will not be able to sign the players. I'm not sure if Reliance is going to want any troublemakers in the league. Exactly, Sterling. FIFA team came to India and proposed a formula. AIFF ignored it and proposed a new roadmap. Why was FIFA proposed roadmap kept hidden? Heck, who said this? The FIFA AFC roadmap has been implemented, right? Again, Nadeem, some of your sources need to do, need to check things. Round Glass Punjab is the only team with club license without any exemption. And having set up Round Glass Punjab, I also know that theoretically they couldn't get a club license without exemption because there's certain things missing, right? So that's your club license these days. Why we didn't see individual players perform national team, but we've seen ISL. Watch the video that I made today, Yash Raj, where I asked that question. right? Where I asked the question in regard to why are our players, why are our teams playing the way they are? And for me, to me, very, very simply, is that there is something wrong in the national team. I can't tell you what. I've not been around the national team for a while, so therefore I can't say what is wrong, but I think there is something wrong. How can FSTL generate TV money that we could also put to clubs and spread it equally? How can this be possible? We need a solution. Get more people to watch it. Get the viewership has to go up dramatically. If Churchill Brothers gets promoted, how do you think they can avoid being the new Mohammedan? Mohammedan Sporting withdraws. Do you think two clubs can be promoted? I don't think two clubs promotion isn't thing, and I think Churchill are worse prepared than Mohammedan Sporting, if you ask me. Do you think we will perform like last year in Next Gen Cup? Pranjal, the Next Gen Cup is a nice PR event. It doesn't matter how many of these players who supposedly performed in the Next Gen Cup, so that's the. It's nice to play, but what's the value? If things don't get solved, then info will enter its dark period, brother in Christ. It is in its dark period. Okay, the Indian team in 2023 gave better fight than in 2011, but the Australia team was gold generation. Viduka, Schwarzer, Kewell, Cahill, Bresciano, Emerton, Neil, all quality. And team, what do you want me to answer that? Do you seriously believe that? Sorry. I mean, I'm trying to answer your points. You're bringing up points where, sorry, most of the things according to my knowledge and understanding is wrong. And then this observation, I don't know where it comes from. 2023 was what I have seen over 3 Asian Cups, a poor performance, the poorest of those 3. Right? 2023, sadly, I wasn't there, but what I saw was just not good enough. Yeah. Your fav Goan club of all time, and why not the others? I don't have a favorite Goan club. I don't know why. Do I need to have a favorite club in Goa? Yeah. I don't think the Mohammedan Sporting fan base are a problem. I think it's the legacy officials and lack of sponsors. Aditya, they've been throwing stuff in the I-League. They've been throwing stuff in the ISL. So therefore, there is nothing wrong in national team. I think it's just that we need a good coach. I don't think, Aditya, that's the problem. I don't think it's purely the coach. Classic Football Academy got some really good boys, and then they should work on physicality now before next gen. What's ahead of them as Classic Football Academy don't have senior team? They will join most probably big teams across the system. Let's see where they go. The problem is, I would tell the boys, try and find clubs where you're going to get game time, right? That is for me. That would be for me the most important point for these boys, that they need to get game time wherever they go, that they get the exposure that they need, and everything else, is something which can be seen, and then we'll see where it heads. Right, already 33 minutes plus on this live on a Wednesday evening, April 9th, 2025. If you're liking what you're seeing, what you're hearing, only 5 likes so far. I think we can do better, guys. And those of you who want to come back for regular content, do subscribe to the channel here to arunfoot. We're currently at 2,487 subscribers, so we're closing in on the 2,500 mark. So thank you very much. And also do watch the videos that I try and make on a daily basis, short content ones. And today I asked about players' performance in national team. Yesterday with the Kalinga Cup, I-League, ISL, AIFF, situation. Do watch those. And as always, thank you. And of course, keep on supporting. And thanks for that as always. I think the international team is better than the old one, considering the ranking on 35 was normal for us, and we are in 126 now in our dark age stage, that too. Aditya, don't take the ranking too seriously. When we were 170s, we were not bad as 170s. When we were 90, in the 90s, we were not 90s, right? And if you see teams behind us, let me just quickly get into the FIFA rankings. Let me just 1 second. Let me just go on FIFA.com and let me get into the rankings. Let me see into the rankings who's where. Full men's rankings, right? So we have India as 127. We have Guinea-Bissau behind us, Cyprus, Rwanda, Malaysia, Malawi, Nicaragua, Kuwait, Central African Republic, Botswana, Suriname, Latvia, Dominica, Burundi, to name the teams up to 140. How many of those teams could we beat? Right? So these ranking comparisons, these blind comparisons make no sense. I've heard Indian sports person don't remember which was having visa issues in tournaments outside. How does this situation work? Can't just countries deny visas and screw position? Also, shouldn't they face consequences if it's unfair? Pranjal, it is on you to apply for your visas at the right time. And from what I understand, in a lot of areas, visas application happens too late. So that would be my logic. Can it be that someone doesn't give you a visa? Again, I don't think in sports that they bother that much, you know. Indonesia qualified for U17 World Cup now. That's called progression. Yes, Goku, it is. The only favorite club of Ananda is Mumbai City FC, says Aditya. Yeah, that's just, again, Aditya, I have some affiliation to certain clubs, right? Mumbai City FC is like, you know, my own baby because I was involved in the time of the creation of the club. I have a special connection, to Ranglas Punjab because I was involved also to setting up stage of the academy, and family tradition link wise. There's also some connection with East Bengal, of course. So therefore, yeah, these are the three clubs who would say that I have an affiliation to, and there are 2 or 3 clubs who I say, you know what, friends of mine run it. Let's see. With the current situation of Interkashi, I only see viewership decreasing. Indian football, I only see viewership decreasing in the coming times. Toba, that's a danger. You raise a very valid point. That's a huge, huge danger for Indian football. And if we don't do the right things, viewership will not grow, right? So therefore, it's a danger, you know. So, you know, the way Bangladesh football trial is going on, I think it will be interesting to watch U17 South Championship going to be held in India for me. Yeah, Vivek, could be. Let's see how many of these players they're going to get through the system. Some of our clubs beat the English clubs in the Next Gen Cup last year. What happened to them now? AIFF, the reality is that we played under 21 teams, and the English clubs played their under 18s mostly, and then sometimes even not even their first team, but even some of their B teams. Again, do you think that an Indian team, an under 21 Indian team, can beat English under 21s? Just think, right? I'm not asking anything else. Yes, they've been throwing stuff, but that's just it. Besides, a little controversy is required to get clicks and news headlines. I really wanted to see a relentless derby and rivalry. I think, Aditya, it's a bigger rivalry on social media than in reality. I think our problem in Indian football is that, again, especially all of us, thanks for you for coming to listening, to watching these lives. We live in a certain bubble that you know, a lot of us consume as much as we can on Indian football, right? I see Roshan here, who watches a lot. Or I think Roshan, you try and watch everything that there is in the women's game. for which honestly I just at the moment don't have enough time with all the things I'm working for. So therefore, for me, all of these factors, yeah, that is something. I think those English clubs took us seriously. Yeah, they will. I hope it's sarcasm. Yeah, between Inter Kashi and Mohammed Sporting. Yeah, I got that, Aditya. Heard that the player showed eligible on the AIFF portal before the Namdari game. Is it true? EF, I don't know. I'm not the AIFF. I didn't see the. I don't have access to the portal. I don't know who it is. I have said very, very clearly that if you ask me how I used to do it, I had someone in my team, who used to keep simple track of the yellow cards, and that was a simple Excel sheet. Not even online, everything offline, always available to us to know which player or not. You have a conversation with the match commissioner. If there was any risk, I would go out. So therefore, for me, very, very simple. And I had that case, Nicholas Anelka. Nicholas Anelka was banned by the Premier League at his time at West Brom. Got a 5-match ban, he served two matches, the two match ban in the UK. We still had 3 matches, and I theoretically had to go from the AIFF. And we then, talking with Nicholas in the end, had to decide you're not playing, even though on paper, for the opening match of the Indian Super League in 2014, Nicholas Anelka could have played, right? So therefore, all of these things that these clubs say just shows that they have no ethics, they have no moral, and that's why I say I don't want such entities in Indian football. But again, if I don't want such entities, I think 99% of them have to leave Indian football. So therefore, I stand on that moral high ground, but I also know that I'm surely I've made mistakes here and there. I'm honest enough. These people will never say that. They will say they've done everything right. So therefore, that's life. So therefore, yeah, these are things. Whenever you told last stream that I-League 2 is poor quality, I would agree, excluding Chanmari FC. Diamond obviously looks too strong for I-League. Yeah. Diamond Harbour have built a very, very strong squad. They've been working towards getting into the I-League or maybe into ISL with Kibu Vicuña as manager. And Chanmari FC, I think a lot of people will not know, sometimes it's the bigger club than Aizawl FC. Aizawl FC have been at the national level for the last nearly decade. But Chanmari locally has been one of their biggest competitors. And let's see what happens. So how does the managers improve the team's bonding and chemistry? I remember in early 2000, English players never spoke to each other. Utsav, it's how do you manage it, And to me, it is not only the job of the manager, but also of senior players in the team, making it an environment, or not senior teams, but the core leadership group within the team to ensure that everyone is part of it and everyone is welcome. That's, I think, a big, big, big problem at the moment. Is Northeast Indian players are most short compared to other Southeast Asian countries players, and Northeast Asian players is people generally are that poor? I've seen quite a bit of tall Manipuris and Mizos in the recent past, so I don't know if that actually counts. Talking about ISL versus I-League players' quality, if you compare the best of I-League versus average versus ISL, do you think the gap is really large? Yes, it is. Watch matches live. Again, I've now watched live matches in the ISL, and I've watched matches in the I-League live. And in the recent past, I've not had the chance to watch lower level football live. I used to watch CFL as well, or even first division or second division in Kolkata in the past. The standard is bad, right? And if the standard in the ISL is poor, I-League is poorer, and we're just speaking about I-League 2. I-League 2 is bad because you don't have any foreigners, and there is no one pushing through that system. If you have someone who's a little better than the rest, Irfan Yardwad, good example, Bengaluru United wanted to keep him. And then Chennai come around the corner. But that is an exception. Tell me how many Irfan Yardwads we've had in the last 2 years to make that jump from the third division to the first division. FIFA ranking should be considered within a continent. Only European team in 140s are better than Asian. Yeah. Asian ranking is better picture. But again, Malaysia is behind us. How often have we beaten Malaysia in the recent past, right? Are we better than Malaysia? I don't know. Very large and average OS will run riot in I-League. Okay, Aditya. If I had to have a private conversation with you, how much will you charge for each hour asking professionally? Aditya, not happening. This guy really wants a register. Yeah, Pranjal, this is where we are stuck, right? What was your day-to-day work like when you more involved in sporting side or more of a management role? Tell for both if you can share. Utsav, I was more on the sporting side, even though I also had management roles. But when you start in 2014 with the ISL, we didn't have anything. So we were at the start, we were everything. But to me, the main point was that I wanted to, and I did look with my technical director and the rest of the team were looking after the team more. And I said, I will focus on the management side, on the building of the club once all of that is done. And but then I realized, it's not my kind of environment where I want to work long term. And I decided, I resigned and I came back to Germany. Didn't take us seriously. Yeah, I understood that they will. I think Inter-Kashi will get the points. I think that because AIFF will try to settle things, and most importantly, Inter-Kashi should talk with Namdari FC because even if they lose 3 points, they will not lose. But Aditya, Namdari seem to be part of the gang, no? They will lose everything since they will not be very regular. And Namdari has another thing, no? They've got another game against SC Bengaluru where they supposedly had a player illegally playing. Inter-Kashi sorted out with Namdari, even it's not moral, but it's what it is. It's going to be corrupt if you want to grow out of the corrupt system. And that could be used against you, Aditya. Again, not, yeah. Let's see. Sporting Club the Goa will qualify if they win next 3 match. Chanmari drop points with Diamond Harbour. Possible, but I would rate Chanmari higher. Sporting Club have done very, very well in the second half of the season. But to me, I think Chanmari is the better one. It's not my request, but a lot of people wanted. Who are the lot of people? That's the point, Aditya. People say, oh, this, that, everything. A lot of people want this, a lot of people want that. This should be done, that should be done. To me, it doesn't work that way at the moment, I feel, right? And therefore, we need to be honest about those things and see how things work. But yeah, let's see what happens. But to me, it's not something that I would say is it might be a chatter on social media, but chatter on social media doesn't mean J-League, 3 national leagues, each with 20 teams, J1, J2, and J3. The Saudi League is good as well, but it seems like a league of 4 or 5 top clubs. Debu, yes. J-League, maybe even the K-League, because I think the Japanese and the Koreans are the most organized parts of Asia, right? As people, as human beings. And we cannot replicate it in India. Right? And that's our problem. If we try and replicate things here and there, it will not work. Even Afghanistan can beat easily that situation that with Bangladesh would lose or we will win. That's the thing. Goku, at the moment, there is no team which where I would say confidently maybe Maldives and Bhutan, but otherwise I don't know who else we will beat easily. The states which generate most footballers are small states: Goa, Mizoram, Manipur, Kerala, compared to UP. Bengal also not producing much. Kerala is not a small state. We've had players also. Karnataka has been producing players, also not a small state. Even Maharashtra has been producing players, but that northern belt, that central northern belt has not been producing. That's very, very true. When there was a Durand Cup match between Inter-Kashi and Sporting and Durand Cup, it took the social media by storm. A lot of people learned about it, even if for temporary time. Aditya, again, we're talking about social media. And I'm not talking about social media. I'm talking about the real world. So therefore, how much impact does it have at the end of the day? Without foreigner, it has really decreased the quality of State League and League 2. Division with foreigner games look better and player know how to handle pressure. And that is the conundrum. Manju, that is exactly the conundrum that one has when we're talking about playing a league with foreigners, or do we play a league without foreigners? I-League 2 is a good example. I-League 2 is supposed to be a league where we are producing new players for the I-League and then for the ISL. Is it happening? I don't know, right? And even I-League, are we producing players for the ISL? How many? Right? So therefore, that's the question that needs to be asked. People should see its potential in a country like India. Come on, Aditya, it's not a potential. It's it's controversy and potential disaster. So I would rather stick out of it. So in second division onwards in Europe, are the clubs allowed to play on AstroTurf? Utsav, in the top division, even I know in Norway they play top division. Sweden, Finland, they play top division on AstroTurf. I know Young Boys Bern in Switzerland used to play on AstroTurf. I remember a time Red Bull Salzburg used to play on AstroTurf. So yes, you can play up to the top tier if you want to. It's not liked. I know that the big European clubs didn't want to play Champions League in Bern because they have the AstroTurf, but it is allowed. Yes. Dada, how was Arsenal game play yesterday? Real team was literally standing watching Arteta ball. Shomo, I didn't see the match. I was watching the other game. I saw the highlights, and looked like to me that Arsenal were clear-cut, clear-cut better, and were the stronger team. And man, back in 2018, Uzbekistan, India, same ranking, but since then Uzbekistan massively improved. Have a say on this. Debu, I will look at it differently. Do we really think in 2018 India was as good as Uzbekistan? My first question. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about the rankings, right? This shows you how useless the ranking is. Again, to me, we have not been of the level of Uzbekistan since Uzbekistan has been created, was probably in the 90s. Right? So that's the reality. I mean, on that, I know you want to stick Indian football out of this, but then this controversy will bring more people here. People outside know the Kolkata Derby because of the violence. I don't think they know it because of the violence. And the controversy is not, it's a short-term thing. If you look at it from a media perspective, that this makes no sense. You're going down a very, very, what I would call very, very dangerous rabbit hole. And this is then, something that people talk about, which is nice. It'll be a talking point for 3 days, but people have forgotten it because people's attention spans is like this nowadays. It's like they go from A to B to C to D and it's gone. It will be bad for long term, but still the good things outweighs the bad. No, it will not be. That's why. Exactly, Devu. Will all the clubs participate in Super Cup? The AIFF thinks so. I think Mohammedan Sporting is in danger of not fielding a first team, if I'm right. No, maybe going in with their reserve side. The 3 I-League teams supposedly have committed. So at the moment, looks like all the teams are playing. Let's wait and see. I was at trials for my district senior football team, which took place in the morning. As we were preparing by wearing our gear and uniform, some of the trial conductors starting discussing football. They mentioned that in our state, we only need 2 or 3 stadiums, which I found surprising contrast. Smaller countries often have over 10 stadiums showcasing the growth of modern football. Goku, there is this whole point about understanding. Think about Mohun, Bagan, East Bengal, Mohammedan. The 3 individual biggest entities, 100 years plus, legacy, tradition, all of that, they are stuck on the Kolkata Maidan. These clubs over these decades have not been able to actually build their own football infrastructure with, keep the Maidan stadium, but why don't you have a multi-ground training facility, right? So therefore, that's the thing, right? So that's the problem. It's sad to see Takashi is termed as religious. There are other clubs in I-League who have bigger religious symbols, chants, etc. Yeah, but again, because it is Kanshi and because they've got orange as a color, I guess it triggers certain people on that front. But yeah, they want to play football, but doesn't hide the fact Uzbekistan one of the fastest growing football nations. That is without doubt. But I'm just saying that even in 2018, when the rankings were close, that we were not as good as Uzbekistan, right? We were not good as Uzbekistan in 2010. We were not as good as Uzbekistan even in 2000. So therefore, that comparison doesn't work. That's what I'm saying. The FIFA rankings is not a fair comparison, even in an Asian context. It is not a fair comparison. The northern states are not producing because there are not many proper clubs there. So in my opinion, there should be regional leagues there in different parts of the country like Northeast, etc. Uday, I think you have certain parts where there are leagues and clubs. You have a strong Punjab league. Delhi has been having its league for decades. Interkashi is trying to work with the government over there to create a UP league. You have the Gujarat Super League. Again, it's also more of a tournament than a league, but again, at least you have something. Rajasthan now has a league, which didn't have a league. Madhya Pradesh also now has a league. So you have all of these things happening, but it has to grow from somewhere. And I think we can't grow from the top. It has to come from the bottom up. I heard today Gütersloh might be saved. Happy for Chris if it happens. Yes, Roshan. Looks like FC, I'm saying FS for Gütersloh, the women's team, which my longtime colleague and partner Chris Ponakatu Daniel is involved in, looks to be saved from moving out of extinction. So hopefully that would be a big step for them. This derby thing is playing with fire. One unfortunate incident would lead to clubs shutting down if not the league itself. I don't think so. I think that the clubs are bigger than that. We've had massive incidents. People have died in the past. I don't think they will shut down. Sir, if a club finishes third on group stage of ACL 2, does the third team move to Challenge League last 16? No. Only the top two move on, if I'm right. Yeah. Regional League is better than giving each club a different state in top division. There is no top division in that sense. No? That's the third division, which is the fourth tier of Indian football, where the champions of each state can play, or the next best team outside of the system. In 2018, Uzbekistan held Senegal 1-1, lost to Morocco, Uruguay 2-0, 3-0, while we were held 2-2 by Myanmar. Our ranking improved as we played 4 matches as Myanmar. Kyrgyzstan, twice Macau, 27 AC qualifiers. Yeah, and wasn't 2017 also that match against Puerto Rico? Qatar won AFC Asia Cup 2019. That's what I'm saying. Nadeem, you also said, right, that the Asian rankings within itself is quite fair. No, it's not. Our rankings, so therefore, yeah, that's the thing. Please don't just speak about the Maidan clubs. Investors are saving their asses literally. Bagan is lucky to get and someone like Goenka. And like, how long will he stay and why do you think Uzbekistan grew so much? Uzbekistan invested in their youth. Uzbekistan invested in the clubs invested money. And then they created better young players. Uzbekistan has always been a good team. I remember watching them in the Asian Cup 2019 and 2011. I always liked it. Asian Cup 2000, India thrashed out of Asian Cup. Uzbekistan reached the semi-final. That was enough for me to understand the level. Exactly. That's Roshan, very well said. I think Mohun Bagan decided to change itself even with the iron fist of Goenka. He literally cleaned the legacy officials, which East Bengal Modern Sporting failed, and we could see their rankings. No, it's no iron fist or something of that, Aditya. I think the difference between the two sides, what has happened is that at Mohun Bagan, Supergiant or ATK Mohun Bagan, the ATK system is still managing the affairs of the club, right? Very simple. The second the club officials get involved in it, it'll be the same mess at East Bengal and Mohun Sporting down the road. So let's see. I don't care about Tehran there versus Celtic versus Rangers. So East Bengal, Mohun Bagan is not even big outside Bengal. I used to watch in past, not much excitement. Yeah, I mean, it is like Celtics, Rangers, right? East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. Celtic has become too big for Rangers. Mohun Bagan has become too big for East Bengal. So therefore, I also say, it's something which there needs to be something. You need to even it out, right? So that's the challenge about derbies as well. Right, over an hour. Thanks for everyone for watching. If you haven't liked, do leave a like behind. If you like the conversation, what we're talking about, trying to answer only 9 likes today. I think we can do better. And if you want to come back for more content, do subscribe to the channel. 2,488. So we're slowly growing. And watch the videos that I create on a daily basis. Support the channel, and thanks for that to all of you. Sometimes I feel Indian football fans are sensitive. One incident happens, everyone starts shouting, Europe, all this is considered normal. Yeah. I think Indian football fans sometimes I feel are very touchy about it, right? I mean, if they do something, it's fine. If it happens to them, they then start shouting, and that's the problem, right? It's like with the whole mistakes of the referees and stuff, where I said, listen, don't make conspiracies out of this. And I joked, and I got my own shitstorm when I clearly said after the Mumbai City game where Nanda Kumar handled the ball very, very clearly. I said, listen, what East Bengal fans don't have anything to shout about, and that's been the reality, right? And for example, the Mumbai City fan base doesn't shout out much, but you could have done it. By the way, Arsenal beat Real Madrid and Bayern missed chances and lost to Inter, so 2 big teams are in danger of getting knocked out, especially Real. I think 10% chance probably to beat Arsenal 4-0. Blue, I didn't watch the Arsenal Real Madrid game. I just watched the highlights, and those 2 Declan Rice goals were extraordinary. But Bayern have to blame themselves. 4 or 5 really good chances. Harry with that shot on the post. Of course, it could have been a great story with the Müller equalizer. Sadly, that didn't stick. Inter were very clinical. But again, the good thing was that Bayern was able to break down their defense. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens. But I still think anything is possible. Real Madrid is one of those teams you shouldn't count out. They might win 3-0 at home and then get into extra time or penalty shootouts. But Arsenal, impressive, and they could have scored even more from what I've seen from the highlights. Bangladesh leaving SAF, joining ASEAN. Ajit, I've heard it as well. Doesn't make sense. Don't think so at the moment. Bangladesh much more effective than AIFF. Ajit, again, this is something which looks like it, but the Bangladesh Federation normally was worse than the AIFF, right? Realistically, how do you see in your football next 2 years? Ajit, I don't even know where we are in 2 months. Or how are you asking me about 2 years? So to me is, again, we are in a situation. I don't know. Again, the whole system might collapse in less than 2 months. So where do I see us in 2 years? You could ask. I don't know. I'm saying in 2019, ranking method was changed, and after 6 years, the inflated rankings are getting normalized, and soon we can compare the teams on the same continent by rankings. Yes, Nadeem, and no, Nadeem. because in some sort of way still you can play around with the rankings if you want to. What makes Goenka control over Mono Subajan different from Imami's hold in East Bengal Banker's control of Mohun Sporting? Goenka's people run the club. East Bengal doesn't even know itself most probably who runs the club. And Mohammedan Sporting, the club officials run the club. So you see, professional, semi-pro, amateurs. That's the mess in Kolkata. Earlier, when a team played World Cup qualifier, found out and suffered, and top teams played Asian Cup qualifier, gained points. Now we won't see that much. That's true, but again, with friendlies, you can still play around. You should watch Fan Advisory Board of Karabas FC meeting held. They post a video of 30 minutes. It's funny, really. Kuku, the idea of setting up a fan advisory board is nice. But if you ask me as someone who's worked in the game, as someone who has run entities and clubs, who has advised entities, to me it makes no sense, right? I say why. You have to run the club professionally and to the best of your abilities, right? And the fan mainly looks, at instant success. So therefore, that clash, which is happening at the Blasters, and I understand the Blasters fans are saying, listen, we want to win a trophy. Understood. But you see that the owners have a clear-cut prerogative, have given the management the clear-cut mandate and says, listen, balance the books. So if you're going to say, listen, I have to go out, and try and build something, but I don't have the money for it. I'd rather have to sell players. That's a different thing, right? So therefore, yeah. These legacy clubs in the 70s and 80s should have encouraged their players to try in Europe or other abroad league, like what Japan, Korea, Iran, etc. did, but they didn't. That's why we're in trouble today. Even those days, for our standards, our players were overpaid. Abroad, no one was interested in our players. We had Kalyan Chobe over in Germany in 2002, trying his luck over here. Didn't work. What about India's twist with CAFA? Originally, it was a corporation which was announced. I don't even know what they've done about that corporation, but it was never something where you'd say, you know what, we're building, India's going to go to CAFA. Right? So that's why I laugh when centre back and Kocheva and other legacy club gap today, they help Indian football. In my opinion, they harmed Indian football rather than helping. I said that at the start of the show. Very well said. Sri Lanka playing Thailand and losing 1-0. Pakistan losing 0-2 to Syria. Good result for SAF. Good result for SAF would be if these teams would have beaten their opponents. If you're losing 1-0, 2-0, sounds good. I don't even know if that result is a fair result or it could have been a different result. So as long as you lose, it's the same thing, right? Just to say, oh, you know what, you used to lose 5-0, 6-0, now we're losing 1-0. Again, next match you could lose 3-0 again. A loss is a loss. Were the players in the 70s, 80s, 90s good enough to play outside India? People claim offers from Europe, etc., but no proof. I don't think so, Blue. From what I remember in the 90s, I would have said no chance. No chance. I guess you said I Am Vijayan could play in Europe, right? Yes, Blue, I Am Vijayan could have played in Europe. I know that some Malayalis tried to create opportunities for I Am Vijayan outside of India, Middle East, I think it was. But I think the furthest that I Am Vijayan has gone was with Baichung and with Renedy. I think Jopol as well was Bangladesh. I think they played in Bangladesh for a while. Where do you see Mexico team in future and past they beat Germany? Morally, honestly, I don't follow Mexico that much. So therefore, I don't know. They're always competitive. Win here, win, lose there. Haven't heard of Tollygunge Football Club. Tollygunge Ogrogrami, not Football Club. Chirag United doesn't exist. United Sports, Lajong FC is there. I-League. Dempo FC is Dempo SC. Both of them are in the I-League. Yeah. No, they are those two are I-League clubs. United Sports is I-League 2, and Tollygunge only plays in the CFL. I'm Vijayan. What made him different? Only I'm Vijayan, talent-wise, from a football. That is something which very few Indian players have ever reached. That I've never seen a player of that caliber of quality. I'm worried about Indian talent pool. Nobody ready to solve structural issues. Yeah. Shumit says AIFF in shambolic condition. Yes, Shumit, sadly, it is. Yeah, shambolic is even putting it nicely at the moment. I mean, it's as bad as never it has been in the past, and that's my concern and worry. If I see the AIFF, things are in a very, 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 very bad shape at the moment when it comes to the AIFF. Yeah, that's very, very true. Right, 1 hour and 10 minutes. Is Japan strong enough to challenge South America and Europe for title? I don't know. So Japan have improved, are improving. Can they? Maybe, maybe not. Your opinion on what Mohun Bagan needs to do to become a good and productive football club, and also your opinion on Sanjay Goenka's way of managing Mohun Bagan. Devu, I made a video a while back on my channel where I suggested that if Mohun Bagan wants to be a full club, and Mr. Goenka, rather than talking about ACL2 success, should make Mohun Bagan a proper club, which means I would think that having a training facility with 3-4 grounds, access to proper medical science at that facility, and ideally down the road maybe even build a champion in I-League. Yes, Sumit, we'll have to wait what the appeals committee and the AIFF decide. As a player, do you think Indian player has to fight within system? Some have, some don't. Are Iran as good as Japan? I would rate Japan higher than Iran, to be honest. But again, on their day, Iran can beat Japan, right? So therefore, but on that side, yeah. Karavasasi manager just fraud in recent postcard when fans question us. Them say every details are available on the website. They are nothing the money spending by selling players. Where did the money? Goku, funding the budget. Where did the money go? The money went into the club. Where did the money go? The money is in the club. Go, they say in youth, they cannot even state youth leagues. U15, U17, U20, U20, and after also they get trashed by local career clubs. Yeah, but that's the problem, right? As per transfer market rumors, not the rival Jahu is moving to Al Arui as manager. Yeah, let's see. But that means that he's retiring, right, Blue? I was fortunate to see my first experience in stadium in 2005, Baichung in East Bengal, scoring 2 in Kozhikode and second match in stadium, Vijayan and Churchill at the end of his career. Oh wow, that was those were the days. Huh? I am Vijayan, Baichung Bhutia playing. Great guys, great characters, great footballers. Apart from Jordan, Uzbekistan, India, which team do you think has improved in AFC the most? I think Jordan doesn't fall into the Uzbekistan-Indonesia class. I think Indonesia and Uzbekistan are very, very special because I think these two teams could actually, I would rate a little higher. I think a team to watch out is actually Sri Lanka. I'm really looking forward how Sri Lanka integrates its players of origins. We're not a sporting nation because of poor development system, but certain countries, despite the system improves talent, Kenya, Jamaica, despite structure, they have good athletes. Yeah, Murali. Kenya, Jamaica, a lot of countries in Africa, the Caribbean, Trinidad, Tobago, Barbados, you can add a lot of those countries. Hi, Vikram. I am doing fine. How do you see Indian football team future now? And also about Manolo. Did Manolo make a mistake to join as manager of Indian team? That's a good question. If it was a mistake of Manolo to join the national team, I think yes. I think he's a better club coach because and national team is something different. That's you have to do some stuff differently. And sorry, Manolo to me, better club coach than national team coach so far. Again, please tell what went wrong for Bachchan Bhutia and Bury FC. Uday, injury. And in the final 18 months, he was nearly always injured. And that was the problem. I would have liked to see Baichung, if Baichung had been fit in Bury in 2001 and 2002, What led to Randy's move abroad at the end of his career? Why didn't he move earlier? Ishan very simply said, Randy is a very good friend of mine and another friend of ours. And we were sitting post ISL in Mumbai, post ISL 1, 2014. And Randy said, you know what? I want to end my career now, but I would love to at least train abroad properly once. Because he trained at Tromsø. Yeah, I remember he spent a few months up north in Norway. And so we said, okay, take it. Let's see what can we do. And then the opportunity at CSK Sofia came around. He actually did well, but but they didn't sign him. So yeah, let's see. Do you think Bangladesh can improve with this search like Hamza? Shumit, 100%. Hamza is just the start. Hamza is the best of the lot, but with Hamza, they're going to be able to attract other talent. Where is Wasim Razik of Sri Lanka now? Wasim is now in Hong Kong. In Germany, what is his level? He used to play for Union Berlin. He was actually between second and third division over there. And now, don't you think if IFA cannot conduct a Bengal league, they should at least expand CFL to a span of 6-7 months? Yes. And this is something I've told the IFA, I don't know how many times over the last 20 years, but then the club, when you sit with the clubs on the Maidan, right? There is a club where you sit down and sit with the clubs, have chai, lebu chai, and you have fish fry and other fries. They'll tell you, we don't want to run our club for the whole year or for 6-7 months. We want to run our clubs for 3 months. Why are clubs rebelling, right? So if you know, he makes content in football, he's saying Bangladesh is considering leaving SAF and joining ASEAN or maybe participating those ASEAN tourney Mitsubishi Cup. XYZ, I've not heard anything from the AFC that Bangladesh is leaving ASEAN, joining ASEAN, leaving SAF. First of all, that playing ASEAN tourney, yeah, that could be tournaments could be possible. Constant said during his first stint that they had fighting mentality. Yes, we're technically weak, but we have fighting attitude when we won LG Cup against Vietnam. Yeah, Murali, think about it. Going to Vietnam, winning in Vietnam, that's impressive. For me, we need constant like a coach, tough coach, no handle player, ego type coach. Looks like it. Pisa has done a tremendous job, so much talent. Why can't same thing happen in football? Or is it because football is a much more complex game? Football is a sport which has, all nations around the world or territories playing in it. Do you think those days' exposure are less compared to today's? No, the exposure at those days were good, very important for the growth, but we haven't taken forward. Don't know why, but feels like Madrid could still score 4 in Bengaluru on Arsenal. It's Arsenal. That's what I'm saying. XYZ, I said a little earlier, if they just score 2, that's good enough. If they score 3, that's good enough. And then, Arsenal, you never know. Iceland beating England Euros, I was surprised. Yeah, of course, everyone was. Since Jan Danda is Indian, is Jan Koto Borsudoma's Indian roots? No. Jan is just a first name, so he's Brazilian. Do we have any origin player of Hamza's caliber? Yeah, of course. We have Danny Bath, Jan Danda was just mentioned. Those guys are of that level. Well, I'm Vijay Bachibu Randy Singh rated highly in Asia during that time. How good was India in those days in comparison to current team? Origin, we were better, and they were rated. Bachung played in Malaysia, Perak. Generation, and there was a lot of expectations from us, right? 2001, we missed out on the final round of the qualifiers just by a point to the UAE. We beat the UAE, right? So therefore, this was different. Eriksson of Denmark, whose player was Christian Eriksen, great player. Some players in the ecosystem believe that Indian players are not able to move abroad because of visa and other EU rules. They think it's not because of lack of quality, man, the level of delusion. Yeah, Ishan, if you don't want to move, you find a lot of reasons not to move. Bangladesh will never be able to join ASEAN. China won't let it. Okay. Habas would have been great for national team top tier discipline. I think yes. Your thoughts on the tweet where you say Indian players don't perform national team, these players have higher caliber. XYZ, I made a video about it today where I tried to explain that tweet. It's just a feeling out of experience, having worked with the Indian national team. I feel this team is not the best in the world, but they're not as bad as they're playing. So there is something which is wrong. Why there is no Northeastern cricket player in top six? I don't know. ASEAN and South should combine their senior tournament. Why would ASEAN want us? Again, forget thinking from our standpoint. We always think from our standpoint. Think from the standpoint of the others. What value do we add? We don't add any value. Rank 1 to 3 by Chungan, Vijay and Chetri. Overall, I would say most probably Baichung, Sunil, and then I am Vijan. If you're asking on a football front, I am Vijan, Chetri, Baichung. 16 team groups and knockouts. Nadeem, they don't need us. Again, nice thought from a South Asian standpoint. They don't want us. They don't need us. Yes, we have Hamza, Calo play, Rodrigo, Bengali boy now. If I'm with Rodrigo, Bengali meme. No, I haven't. Do we have origin players like you in abroad? In what number? Oh, Angry Birds, we have quite a few in the UK, in Canada, and America. But I find those days we had more fighting attitude player compared to today's. Yes, 100% fighting attitude, passion to play for the shirt. Myanmar plus 7 South nations, 2 groups in South, top 2 from the quarter homes on top. Nadeem, as I said, nice idea, but makes no sense. The tweet of yours gained a lot of traction, the right kind of traction where fans had actual insight to share. Yeah, but again, we also saw that certain people had their answers ready. And again, to me, how many people really know what goes on in the national team? Most of the people don't, right? If you've never been part of a team inside, especially a national team, there's a lot of internal dynamics, and that's something which, if you don't know, then you don't know. Leverkusen lost the club, which considered me shocked in recent. Why did they lose the club? What did Leverkusen do, Murali? I feel these players need someone like Steven. They need to be restricted. Yeah, it looks like it. That's why Havas might have been the right one. And Havas is also coached in Bolivia, right? The national team. So therefore, that is an advantage. Are the Indian national team players silently protesting by these performances and realize that they are not happy with the mismanagement of AIFF and handling the matters? They don't care about the AIFF. XYZ. If they would protest, if they would really protest, do you think then Sunil would have come back? Then the players would say, we don't play. That's the easiest protest you can do. Do you read about Qazi Salahuddin increases tenure? No, I didn't. India can obviously add value in ASEAN level, I think. No, what value do we add? Where are we adding value? What value? Rodrigo being Bengali is just a meme. Oh God, yeah, we are so far. What is the role of team manager in a national team setup? I don't mean manager as in coach. He manages the day-to-day affairs of the team, ensures, that with the operations and logistics guys, that the travel is organized, hotels is organized, stay is organized. He sits in the managers' meet that everything is right, and coordinates with the national team coach, coordinates with the media guys. So he's everything is under him, so to say, as a manager. The picture is going to be clearer in June. Let's hope so. Armenia BFL beat Leverkusen with shock. Yeah, of course, Morali, biggest shock in a long, long while in German football, in the German Cup, but it happens. That's football. We will add value by giving ASEAN countries plenty FIFA ranking points. We're losing to them all the time. But again, I think the ASEAN guys are quite happy with their format, with their system, so I don't think they will want to. They don't need us. Let's put it this way, putting it nicely. They don't need us at all in any way. Right now, sad thing, people make fun of India team when they play at international level. Yeah, Murali, that's true. Very, very true. Very, very disappointing to say the least. But those are the realities of Indian football these days, and that's where we are. We are stuck in that, and I hope. Again, hope is a big word. Once again, I hope that will be better one day. How big a role do you think Randy has played in as assistant coach in Chetty's improved performance this season? Huge. Randy is like an elder brother to Sunil. Has always been. I think he's resurrected his career when in 2007 he said, "Let's go to JCT." When Sunil, I think, was considered, I know that he was considering of maybe leaving professional football. So yeah, and Renedy is, I think, the most talented of the lot in regard to all our coaches. Isn't ASEAN qualifier coming up? Yes, XYZ later this year. I think September, I think, would be the date. And now we're not this bad. If manager's done something really wrong. Angry Birds, we have Mr. Steamach has ensured we're that bad. Football is popular in Nepal, Bangladesh, and large population of India. Yeah, not only that, it's also popular in Bhutan. It's popular in Sri Lanka. In some pockets, it is popular in the Maldives. Even what I hear from friends, even Pakistan. So it has its windows. Another statement keep on saying billion people cannot be good at sports. Yeah, but Murai, that's a fact, right? That's not a statement. That's a fact. What do you think after ISL final? If I think about U20 players camp for Asian Cup qualifiers, Yashraj, let's see. Robin Singh, Chetri, Vijayan, Bhutia, what difference you see in them? See, Robin had physicality with him. Vijayan, technically the best. Baichung and Sunil, very, very opportunistic. I've said this before here, but I think what India needs is something like German discipline. Used to think that they play physical German style fascinates me the most. Okay, nice thought. Congratulations to Sergio Barras to promote to ISL. Oh wait, why isn't Takashi also there? Okay, XYZ. Rank Ashim Biswas, Lalampuya, Chetri, Dipendu Vishwas. Lalampuya, Ashim Biswas, Chetri, Dipendu. If I would look at what the potential was, and the reality would be Chetri, Dipendu, Ashim, and Lalampuya. Is any Indian player playing highest level Olympics? Yes, Murali, we've had at Indian origin at Olympics. I saw Lalampuya and he was good. Lalampuya was a bulldozer, was an exceptional player, but yeah, he couldn't keep it up. A lot of problems around the player. Sadly, Lalampuya didn't do what he was needed to do, right? That's the problem. What's your opinion on how to prepare 23 team for qualifiers? Hannibal, we need to start a camp, but again, we need to give the boys a summer break, I would say. Or even I would have said, listen, why don't you do a camp in May? Play a couple of friendlies in June. Everyone goes on holiday. Again, I know the ISL teams will start preseason in July and then get the team together in August at some stage and then prepare for the qualifiers. But I don't think the AIFF will do that. Well, now we don't even have a U23 team. Indonesia qualified U17 FIFA World Cup for first time. On merit, Indonesia was so behind India. Now they are qualifying on merit. Yeah, XYZ. Do the right things. Very simple. Football is not complicated. Do the right things, work on things, and they are working at the top and at the bottom. Indonesia, we see what they're doing with the origin players. We don't see what they're doing at grassroots, what they're doing at club level. Indonesia has come a long, long way in the last decade. Okay, if Indian team was 10 under Stephen Constantine, now how much will you rate it and how much this is for Igor? If I say that at the Thailand game, which we won 4-1 in 2019, we were 10. At the moment, we are somewhere between a 2 and a 3. And that is the fault of Mr. Steamach. And I would say, let's say, up to 3, fault of Mr. Steamach. And that Bangladesh game for me is another minus point. Let's say, put it at 2. And that's the fault of Manolo. But I've been saying this for the last 6-7 months. I'm giving time to Manolo in September, October, November. Try out everything. The Bangladesh match counts. And he's failed in that. Right? That's the reality. Sadly to say, Manolo needs to do better. There was a Branco Cardozo of Mohun Bagan. Was he foreign origin? What happened to Keen Lewis? Branco was a Goan, was Tata Football Academy. And talented striker, but even I remember Mohun Bagan, Bayern Munich got a red card. Brain on him. Both of the two guys got red cards for that. And let's see what happened to Quinones. Quinones is now a coach. To Bagan for one of their programs. He's somewhere in Kolkata, but I think he's still with Mohun Bagan Supergiant, right? I think he's with their reserves. I think, I don't know. And he was part of the FC Bayern World Squad and actually didn't make it, to be very honest. Corona, we're barely 2, we're dead 1, realistic we're 0, hope is good. No, we would be dead if we're 0. We're not 0. We are between 3 and 2, I would say, or 2 or 3. That's what I think. Have you talked with Indian footballers? Are they comfortable with OSAC coming to Indian national team if somehow laws allow, hypothetically? Yeah. Generally, they're fine with it. I think some of them fear for their positions, but I think generally, Which Lampuya are talking about? Lalampuya, Tata Football Academy product, 2004, 2005, was rated at the time better than Sunil. Any instance you felt even European struggle is hosting big events? Yeah, Murali, can happen. Why not? That's a better passing ability compared to others. Yes, he did. Where do you rate Al Rayyan? Poor Murali. I've not seen Al Rayyan in the recent past, so I can't rate them anywhere. Why don't European clubs do preseason in India like they do in ASEAN countries? Because nobody's willing to put the money on the table. Hannibal, the only person who has been able to do preseason or postseason matches is myself, twice with Bayern, with the first team, 2008, Oliver Kahn's final game. In January 2012, Pancham Bhutia's testimonial, India versus Bayern, and of course Hoffenheim playing in Mizoram in 2014. So but that was always, we were able to get the funds out of Germany to make those things happen. No one wants to do it this way. Any good news regarding Indian football? We should leave it. We shouldn't leave it, but I don't have any good news at the moment. You think Tata Football Academy is good player compared to today's academies? Yes, Monali, we spoke about it yesterday. Tata Football Academy has produced more better players than all the academies producing today. So that's a reality, yes. What about India coach quality in past compared to today? Wow, Murali, coaching is always a difficult one. Football has changed a lot over the last, years. So comparing coaches, difficult, very, very difficult to make those comparisons. Were they better in the past? I don't know. I don't think so. But again, it's difficult to make that comparison. In next 4 or 5 years, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh is better than ASEAN football and also development. Okay, let's see what happens on that front. Yashraj, do TFF still produce good quality players? Yeah, the young players coming through at Jamshedpur FC, because Tata Football Academy now is part of Jamshedpur FC, so it's their academy, so to say. But again, it is not producing players like they used to in the past. Should we be sending our under-23 for South Championship Colombo this June? Shomo, good idea. I feel yes, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be the plan of the system. What about Bibiano Fernandez? Can we try with senior player? Bibiano for me is a good youth coach. So yeah, let him. Supposed to coach now the under-20s. Let's do that. Is it still good considering jersey topping? Yeah, that's why they're there, right? They are there, but they're not producing players at the level that they have in the past. Flo and Wirtz to Man City since Kevin De Bruyne retiring. Let's see. Supposedly Wirtz is staying another season in Leverkusen, and then depends where Xabi Alonso ends up. Real Madrid, Bayern is interested, so let's see what happens. Well, not just 1.5 years ago, we were so happy, and now again depressed. We termed Igor as the GOAT. Now we call him the blunder. I hope as time goes, may everything heal. Angry Birds, I didn't call him the GOAT. If you want, look at some of the early videos that I made on this channel, in July 2023. I saw the matches and that didn't impress me. I was happy. Of course I was happy. I remember I had with one of the players a long discussion on things. And the player said, yeah, I would never say that publicly, but he understood it. So, yeah. Understanding limitations of players is important. You are fair to understand. Yes, Murali. R under 3 will get smoked by Saf. countries, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, will win easily. Again, it doesn't matter if they will be beaten easily or not, but the exposure is important. Lamine Yamal to Man City, don't know. Right, let me come to an end. Nearly 1 hour and 35 minutes, so more than 90 minutes. I'll answer this Renal question as the end. Do you fed up people lacks football literacy? Yes. I've seen a few people who talks facts like you and rest doesn't really understand how football works. Yeah, sadly, Renal, I always, used to be diplomatic on this front, but nowadays I honestly say that we've got too many people who think they know and they understand. So therefore, for me, that's one of our biggest problems. And do you think I-League title battle could drag all the way to CAS? Yes, Shomo, that's a real danger. Do long camps make different? Said we beat Kuwait, Lebanon when you don't provide time to forget but Russia. Murali, we played badly against Lebanon and Kuwait, so therefore that discussion doesn't work. Propaganda people become football experts, real experts become joker. Yeah, and that's the last that I'll take for today. Thanks a lot for joining again. As I say, if you like the discussion, do leave a like behind, share it with other people to join in, and also if you haven't, to subscribe to the channel. 2,488. Thanks a lot. We're closing into the 2,500 mark. I might try and do an earlier live tomorrow, and let's see if I can do one because I've got people from India coming. I'll be busy with some handball work over the extended weekend, and as I say, do watch the other videos as well, and I will catch you maybe tomorrow. I'll try and do an earlier one if I can, and otherwise I'll catch you very, very soon. Thanks a lot.